Alright guys, this is going to be a little bit of a different video than what I typically go through on my channel. If you're a fan or a general viewer, you probably know that a lot of the time I like to work on my model sirens, but this channel is also based off of some tool unboxings and unboxings in general. But it's great when they kind of carry over with each other, so you kind of have two things in one. And the unboxing today is going to be of a recent acquisition from eBay. This is a Model A. This is a first generation Model A, or really I should say second generation. It's a Federal Electric Model A. So this is the one that has the double cones on it, as you'll see later on in the video. But there's a neat little quirk about it, and I don't think many people have actually seen the inside of a Model A. And this one is just the way it was basically packed is. It's missing the entire back. It's missing the back, and it's also missing the mount, so there's nothing to really hold the entire thing together. But I also have another purchase that's going to be coming probably in a couple of days after I eventually win the bid, but I'm getting a couple other sirens too. One of them that's broken, which parts of that is going to be used in repairing this. Without further ado, I guess we'll go ahead and just get on in it. So this was purchased off of eBay, as I said before. I managed to get this for a pretty good price. This was shipping from Pennsylvania, and I believe, as the seller described it, is that it actually used to be on a fire station. I'm not sure if this was used specifically in the fire station, probably for calling the firemen to get dressed. I'm not exactly sure what this was being used for in the fire station. I know for sure it probably wasn't used for actual fire calls, because it is just a Model A. There's not really that much going on with it. But it also isn't in the original color. It has been repainted, so it's one thing to keep in mind. But he says he had stated that it does work and get out of the box, but there it is. Now it does use, I can tell already that it does use the older style motor on it. You can see the brush caps right there. And it looks like this thing probably didn't have a back on it for quite a while, and someone very clearly has been kind of messing with this before, because those are not the original fasteners. Those are all hex fasteners, and they appear to be stainless too, which is kind of nice. I might end up keeping those. I just wish they weren't hex. When I eventually do go to probably repaint this thing, I might even keep it the way it looks. It's kind of a cool little patina. But if I do intend on kind of revamping this siren, I do think I might get rid of these fasteners and go back with something a little bit more period appropriate, something like a brass fastener with just a flathead on it, so I can make it look a bit more appropriate. But there's the tag. I'll also get a picture of that. You can get a serial number right there. You know exactly how old it is for those who like the serial numbers. So it is serial number B-101, which is kind of a neat thing to see. And the tag is in very, very good condition too for being a Federal Electric, but I guess that's because this was probably indoors most of its life. There's also not a lot of corrosion on it, being that all these castings are aluminum. So it's in very, very good condition. It looks like this was painted at some point as well. It's a little bit of a chewy spot in it. I'm assuming there's probably some stuff that's in that rotor. And that rotor is actually kind of loose in there, so that might have to be worked on, but that's nothing that I can't take care of. But being as it is one of the original Model A's, there's actually an original advertisement right there, which I know people have probably seen in my videos before. There's actually a little bit of glare coming from my video light there, so I'll go ahead and actually try to get it at an angle you can see it just a little bit better. That's an original advertisement. I believe this ad is from like 1920 something or 1930. I don't remember exactly. I believe it says it on the back. But that's the Model A right there. That's technically the first generation, as the very, very first generation, as it does actually have oil caps on it, which are very, very hard to see because it doesn't really want to show up all too well on the camera. But these little caps right here, and of course my hands are dirty because the siren is dirty itself. These little caps there are actually oil caps, where you actually would oil the bearings in the motor, because they were meant to be serviced just in a regular service interval. And the tag is on the proper location as well. There are several versions of the Model A. This one, I guess, would technically be more of a second generation than it is a first. being that it uses, I'm assuming probably actually ball bearings, unless there actually would have been probably like a grease cap, because I see that this port on the back is actually threaded, so it might have actually had a grease cap at some point, so you can actually oil this motor. So this is most likely actually a second generation Model A. By no means more like the, there's been several versions of it, just much like there has been several versions of the Model D. There's upwards of about 4 different versions of the Model D, and as of right now, I have 3 of them, or 2 of them, but I hope to eventually get all 3 generations at some point. Of course, every generation has its own little quirks, but that is the larger motor, though, which is really cool to see. These motors, these small industrial sirens did come with the different types of motors in them. This larger one looks very, very similar to that of the Model D, in that the Model D, when available from Federal back in the day, came with a 1/3 horsepower motor, which is quite impressive for the size of the Model D. It's a lot of power in a little package, but of course it's a universal type motor. We can again look at the tag, and I don't want to spin it up now, knowing that this has a little bit of a grindy rotor. So I do want to go actually back in there and take this thing apart and actually kind of get that fixed up. Now it looks like the reason why it's scraping actually may be because the stator and the rotor are not concentric with one another. It looks like that at some point the rotor actually shifted over. I'm really hoping this thing is not actually bent, which I don't think it is. But I'm going to spend a little bit of time kind of digging through it, and we'll go ahead and actually get this fixed up. But that'll be in a later video. But I just want to show you kind of a quick little unboxing of this. This is my birthday present to myself. My birthday is coming up the 5th of November, so I want to get myself something a little special. So thank you for joining and seeing this little unboxing of a Federal Electric Model A. As a brief little thing I wanted also to mention while I'm doing this video is that for my birthday, I'm also going to be doing a live stream, most likely, where I'm going to be doing another live stream where I'm probably going to go through and kind of talk a bit more about Fusion, if you guys are interested, because I know a couple people in the comments were actually wondering how to download Fusion 360, how to use it, kind of some basic stuff about it. So I'd like to, as a kind of a thing for my viewers, I'd like to go through that and actually, my cats are fighting now. Of course they're running around on the couch. But I'd like to go through the process of kind of how to get started on it, so you guys can actually try making your own sirens yourself if you want to. And if you're not at least going to 3D print them, you can at least make the models yourself and get some kind of practice with them. So if you ever do end up getting a 3D printer, or you do get in a location where you actually can print some of your stuff yourself, you can actually go ahead and do that. And some of the things coming up, I also forgot to mention, is that the Los Angeles series of sirens will be coming out at some point soon. That includes something that I don't think many people have actually seen, because I haven't actually posted it in any video, but the flattened, give me one sec, the flattened Mach 7s will actually be coming out and will be available as well. These, of course, are 912, just like the ones in Los Angeles, which we eventually found out. But the Mach 7s will be available, as well as the regular Model 7s, which are more of the later variety. Those 7s will be available too. They're all going to be printed in yellow. So I know that the other Model 7s that have available, that were available up on Etsy for a while, those were sold specifically in just red. These Model 7s will be sold in yellow. They're going to be unweathered, but they will have the tags. And then the other things that are going to be sold are the 500 SHTT and the SD10, which you guys haven't also seen in a video, but I'll probably post a little teaser video about that too. Of course, I have a video of the SD10 really far back in my channel. That was my own personal prototype. That was kind of for my own entertainment, just because I want to make my own little diorama. But believe me, that model has been worked through. I've repaired it. I've made it a lot more easy to print. I've made it a bit more functional. And it just looks a bit more accurate to the real SD10. So, and of course this is going to be specifically the Los Angeles models, so that SD10 is not going to have that little ring around the actual rotor, the rotor and stator, excuse me. So just keep that in mind. So if you're going to be purchasing the Siren, it's not going to be like the later SD10s. It's going to be Los Angeles SD10. But yeah, appreciate you guys watching the video. Comment, rate, and subscribe. You guys really don't have to do any of that kind of stuff, but it helps out a lot. And hope to see you in the next video. Hope to see you on the stream too. Remember, it's gonna be sometime Saturday. I'm actually probably gonna post a little post about when it's gonna come up. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Wait. One last thing. For those who did catch the stream last time. The prototype is completed. So, you'll see that later on.